Today's match between the Immanuel Lutheran Lancers and the Eleva Strum Cardinals. This is one of the Lancers handled by Rail, and she'll take it up the floor for the first time tonight for the Lancers. Takes all the way in, got a handoff to Lydia. Dribbles back in for the reverse layup. That'll bounce up and in. The Lancers on the board early. Poked out of her hand, she'll get it back as she crosses half court. Send it back up top to Roasted. Into the paint. Hanner gonna go right back up top. Now right back to her. Milky on her. Kicks it out, has some space. She'll take the three and knock it down. First three right for never fall. And she brings them up early by one. Well, fruitful possessions early for both these teams, and then sends it over to Williams right back up top with Lydia. In the paint, Milky wasn't looking for this, taken away by Gunderson. Deflected, trying to get a handle on it, eventually will. And then take it back across the line with the lane inside. Rail steps up late. Going to be sent long twice. She came by Lydia with a foul call beforehand. She'll have it staying with the Lancers. Going to go against number 22, Gunderson. And Lydia will take it back on the floor for the Lancers. Steps in, fakes to Milky. We go opposite way to Gurgle. Back up high with Lydia. She'll step inside over Rail. Rail fakes, tipped out of her hands, and be handled by Milky. She'll step back out, not a lot of options. Then I'll hand it back up top with Lydia. Lydia looking to drive inside. Pull up jumper, bounced up and out. Tipped up in the air, going to be handled by Gunderson. Sorry, Nicolette. Moves across, has some space for three, won't take it right back into the paint. Steps around, good pass across, a little bit too high out of her hands. Step back up top, he gets a hand on it, and can't save it from going out of bounds. And the Cardinals will maintain possession. First one of the night will be Hewlett, 134 Ruskin. And she'll go ahead and pass it in. Strum. Pressure comes, she'll hand it off. Take steps inside, kick out corner, open three, fresh off the bench. Gonna come up short. Gonna be handled by Lydia, she's got space in front. Rims up and out, gonna be handled by Rail down low. Now a jump ball, which will go with the Lancers. Sorry, go with the Cardinals. And back up the floor goes Nicolette. Takes an option, swing back across. Receivers. Paint spins, pass once again a little too high for Gunderson. And it goes back to the Lancers. 13:55 to go here in the first half. 3-2-1 lead for the Cardinals. Both teams scoring in the first possession. Scoreless since as Lydia takes it back up the floor for the fifth time tonight. Across to Gurgle. Back up top with Lydia. In the low corner with Williams. Swings it across. Read well and handled by Hewlett. Tipped out of her hands. Taken back by Gurgle. Tipped out of her hands. Now she'll get it back once again. Once again poked out of her hands. And eventually handled by Hewlett. Into the paint, right well by Rail. Rail will take it away. That's a 3-on-1. Gonna take it herself. Can't finish with a foul. Let's go. This is headed to the line for the first free throws tonight for either team, and the first foul for Nicolette. Two team fouls early for the Cardinals. And as Rail's first free throw bounce to end. Gets on the board for the first time. Right, ties this one up at 3. Her second free throw with a chance to give her the lead. All is well. Rail takes advantage of the 3 points, goes up by 1 for 3. As Lancers put a soft press. Gurgle on her in half court. Take a look at the drive inside, no option, swings it back on. Right back over to her. Up on the run to get a Strum. The paint kick out, open 3, wants to take it back up high. Up and around, right will from Gurgle. Gurgle's got a 1-on-1, a step ahead. And travel called on Gurgle. And she got tripped up from behind on her own feet. Ends up sending it back to the Cardinals as Lancers had a couple of nice steals, chance for some transition buckets. Haven't been able to finish so far tonight as the Cardinals take it back to the floor. Gotta be able to treasure this ball a bit more than they have. couple of turnovers and a lot of great steals from the Lancers. She runs into trouble here. Going to get it out to Felix. Back up high with Nicola. She'll drive to the corner. Has the open three. So take it. Off top of the backboard on a play. It's going to head back to the Lancers. And timeout call. 4-3, a 1-point lead for the Lancers with 12:38 to go. Back from timeout, Windsor's holding on to a 1-point lead, 4-3. Chance to extend it to take the ball back at the floor with Lydia. Swings it high over to Milky. Takes the bank and go back out with Lydia. Has a bit of space. She'll dribble out and around. Gets it over to Gurgle. Looks back high and they'll find Lydia. Let's get past in the paint as Williams. Williams, quick shot, sends it long. Milky there to get a rebound. Steps back inside. Good look. Sends it long. Gurgle sends it right back. This one comes up short. Tipped around and eventually going to be handled by Nicola. Pressure coming from all sides. Going to get around a couple. Force back out. Needs an option high and they'll find her. Fakes one drive back in that way. Kick out corner, open three for Nicola. This one sent long after making her first only point for the Cardinals. This one sent back up and around. Tipped out of her hands, taken away by Lydia. 2-on-2, now less space. She'll weave her way back out. Nice little move inside. Can't quite finish. And that's rebounded by Nicola. Milky trying to get in front. Has to step on a couple of them. So it'll bounce up and out. Rebounded for an open shot. Lays it back up and in. Bounce right to her. Everyone else facing the wrong direction. It bounces like an awkward bounce off the rim. And the Gurgle now looking to step inside. No option there. Kick out to Lydia. Takes the post back over to Gurgle. Corner to Williams. Pass deflected. Handled by Gurgle. She'll spin and send her back out to Lydia. Up over to Milky. Milky looking to drive inside. Back across to Gurgle. Gurgle, good look, and a bank it up and in. Gurgle first point tonight as the Lancers back up by 1. Question from Lydia on Nicola. She'll get it up the floor. Needs an option. No good look. And 5 seconds gone before timeout. As the pressure from Loki starting to get to Nicola. Forces the turnover as Holman will enter in for Williams the first time tonight. And I'll go ahead and pass it into Lydia, who will take it back up the floor. Over to Gurgle. Has some space. She'll step inside. Corner to Holman. Back up top. Quick pass to the paint with Rail. Rail going to step inside. Back up to Holman. Holman pass up top. Read well and picked off by Emerson. Emerson for him to go. Down a number. And shot will go. Milky pressure from behind. Thompson to pick it up. Took that extra step, and the Lancers stay strong on the transition and send it back their way. Over to Gurgle. Looks for an option. Gonna send it back out to Lydia. Back over to Holman. Pressure comes into the paint. Triple teamed. Deflected and taken away by Nicola. Back across to the corner. Has some space. She'll take the quick three. This one will bounce out. Rebound by Emerson inside. She'll take it back out and hand off to Nicola. Nicola with the lane inside, all alone. She'll land one in. Nicola's got 5. And the lead for the Lancers gone as they drop down by 1, 7-6. Quickly over to Holman. Looks at the bank and send one back out to Lydia. She'll fake, dribble around and get it over to Gurgle. Fakes back high. Corner to Milky. Milky. Passes up to deep 2. Looking to go baseline. Hit hard on the way in as she will not hit the line here. I call it on the floor. And that'll be a pass in for a moment. 13 foul in the seconds now on Gunderson. Pass for a moment needs an option. Pass deflected and taken away. As it eventually goes to the hands of Nicola. Milky's loading up on the other end, pass across all alone is Emerson, and it'll bounce up and in. Emerson's got 4, and the lead is up to 3 as Seibel will enter in for Milky. And Libby will take it back up the floor for Lancers. Lead has been diminished. Now find themselves in a 3-point hole, trying to bring it back. Colonel swings a corner to Ullman. Fake, she'll step inside. Double team, looking for a kick out. Finds Lydia. She'll fake a 3, step inside for a shorter 2. Sends it long, right side by Rail. Shot goes long, tipped out of a couple hands, ends up being last touched by Ullman. So they go back to the Cardinals. Strum will enter in for number 20, Felix. And Williams will enter in for Rail. On with Tanner and Gunderson. Gunderson will have the bench for a few moments with those 2 fouls, trying to avoid her getting her 3rd early in this first half. A little over 9 minutes to go. Sends it across to Emerson in the corner, has some space. We'll take it, skip pass across. Nicola deep 2, gonna pass it up for an open 3 in the corner. That one bounces out. Rebound Nicola inside, get a rim up and in. Nicola now with an 8. Sorry, 7. Swings it over to Gurgle. Gurgle fakes a 3. Back up high with Lydia. In the paint with Williams. Pass high. And gonna be taken away. Tipped out of her hands. Taken away by Williams. Williams steps back inside. And foul on the floor. Now it's staying with the Lancers underneath. 15 foul now on the Cardinals. The first on Hainer. Pass it from Lydia. Sends it up quickly to Ullman. Ullman turns, finds Lydia, open 3. Sends it long, and it'll be handled with some space in front. Gurgle recovers quickly and forces the travel once again. That was Strum trying to get the pass on. Pressure came from behind. Ended up taking the extra step for the 52nd time tonight. The Lancers get a chance once again to cut into this lead, down by 5, 11-6. Swings over to Seibel. Gets in the paint with Williams. Williams spins, trying to pass back up, poked out of her hands. Scrum forward on the floor, and a jump ball will be called, which will stay with the Lancers. And it'll be Lydia who will pass it in on the side. Nope, going to change that to Ullman. We'll pass it in to Lydia. Over to Gurgle. Mishandles the pass. Now gets her hands on it, back up top with Lydia. Back over to Gurgle. Drives towards corner and hand off to Ullman. Pressure comes, Ullman turns her with her couple. Double teamed, and a jump ball going to be called this time. Going to head back to the Cardinals. 11-6, 8 minutes to go. Back up the floor goes Nicolette. That's Wales who's ready to check in for the first time tonight. Starts to the corner. Takes it and send it back high to Emerson. Emerson spins, sends it deep corner. Takes a 3. Double teams, get pass across Nicolette. Nicolette steps inside, has a lane, rings up and in. Nicolette now has 9, and the lead goes up to 7. Goes quickly over to Seibel. Skip pass across to Gurgle. Tipped out of her hands and taken away. As Nicolette will try to push the ball. Cut off. That's deflected. Going to be handled on top of Emerson. Steps through a couple of defenders. Swings it across to the corner. Skip pass across to Nicolette. Goes corner. Open 3. She'll take it. Sent it long. Handle deep corner. Sent back high to Emerson. Up top with Nicolette. Slow it down. Drive inside. Little floater. Banks and rims up and out. Tipped out of bounds. Last touch by the Cardinals. Wales on our game for Ullman. Lydia will take it back at the floor. Under 7 to go. Over to Seibel. Fakes, get pass across. Once again, Bradwell picked off by Segerstrom. To the corner, handle, she'll step inside. Emerson open jumper. Banks and rims up and in this time as Emerson now has 6. 9-point lead now for the Cardinals. Over to Gurgle. Fakes back up high with Lydia. She'll step inside, has some space. Pump fake, back up to Gurgle. Gurgle, good look. Bounces off the back of the rim. Tipped around, rebounded by Williams. Poked out of her hands. Now a jump ball going to be called. This time staying with the Lancers. We're able to enter for the Lancers along with a couple of Cardinals. Hughes, Gunderson, and Rustad as Girdle heads to the bench for the Lancers. Williams will pass it in on the baseline. In the rail, double team, handles it, pass deflected. Handled by Wales, back up high with Lydia. She'll step back inside, out of the space, hand off to Wales. Wales takes it up high. Tipped out of her hands and taken away by Emerson. Rail coming in quick. That foul is going to be called. He's going to go against Wales as Wales ends up getting there first. Regardless, sending Emerson on the line to take 2 with 6 of the 15 points so far tonight. We can add that here as our first one bouncing off the back of the rim. 5:58 to go as the Lancers down by 9 with Williams entering in for Seibel. Second free throw comes up, rebound by Williams. And she'll send it up to Lydia. It'll be a good foul for the Lancers. The Cardinals come away with nothing. To the corner with Wales. Get past out to Lydia. Quickly over to Williams. Williams the open 3. Rims up and out. They're going to be handled inside before being sent back out to Nicolette. We'll try to push it. Central corner. Tip deflected by Lydia. Angling right back up to her. Has a lane inside. Splits a couple of defenders and lays it up. But the hit just rings out. Before being fouled once again. There's just under back to the line. Chance to make it a 10 or 11 point lead. Goes against Williams. Really had a huge night on the other end. Ended up brimming out. Turned into a chance for a couple of free points on this end. Nico makes her first now with 9. No, 10. 10 on the 9. Chance to make it 11 and an 11 point lead. Immanuel. And timeout by the Lancers. 17-6. Lancers down 11 with 5:46 to go here in the first half. We are back to a timeout. 17-6, a 9-point lead for the Cardinals with 5:26 to go. It'll be Lancer ball going back down the floor as they have yet to score in the last 7 minutes. Had a lead at 6. Both Cardinals went on nice little run. Put them up where they are now by 11. Milky fakes in the paint. Looking to drive inside. Skip pass across to Williams. Ended up cutting inside right as the pass was thrown as it'll head back to the Cardinals. And back up the floor goes Nicolette. To the corner. Nicolette. In the paint. Pass deflected. And going to be handled by Milky. We'll hand off to Lydia. She'll take it back up the floor for the Lancers. Over to Williams. Back up high with Lydia. A little bit too high. She'll handle it anyway. Right back over to Williams. Over to her sister in the corner. Right back up to her. She'll spin. Look to hand it off with Will to Lydia. Skip pass across to Milky. Milky will step inside. And travel called. She couldn't find her way inside. Back to the Cardinals. Back with Emerson. three. This one gonna bounce out as well. Tipped up in the air, rebounded by Emerson, pass blocked. In on the side by Nicholas, she'll take it back out, kicks it out up top, and swing it around. Hewlett open three, she'll try her luck. This one off the back as well, gonna be rebounded by Rail. Tipped out of her hand, she'll take it and drill it back up the floor with a 2-on-2. Pass across, read well and taken away by Emerson. Emerson will slow it down, pass deflected, it's gonna be handled. Understand. All in the corner, Hewlett again. This one banks up and off as well, rebounded by Rail. This time she's got a lot more space. Just one coming up behind her. And foul called as Rail headed the line to take two. Trying to break the drought for the Lancers. At the line, just bring it down to a 9-point game. Try to get some momentum swung back their way in the final 3:54 of the first half. As Rail's first comes up short. Rail 2 for 3 on the night as Omen let her in for Williams. And Cedar Strong's wearing Hewlett. Rail take her second free throw, trying to bring it back down to a 10-point game. This one off the back. And rebounded by the Cardinals. Now quickly up the floor. The corner over for Cedar Strong won't take it. Pass in the paint. Roll with Rail. Comes up short. Will be handled by Milky. Milky trying to push the floor. Pressure in front. Slows it down. Kick out Lydia. Open three. Won't take it. Steps in for a shorter two. Banks up and off. Rebound inside. Falls to the floor. It's going to be a travel, which will have it staying with the Lancers. 3:31 to go. Lancers remain down by 9. See if they can get something here on the inbound. Pass will come in from Lydia. Milky to Williams. Williams takes a three. Comes up short. Tipped up in the air. Rebound. Milky trying to get it back up. Deflected out of her hands. And that's going to go with the Cardinals. Pass across, Lydia read it well. She steps short, ends up being open three for Cedar Strong, which will bounce it out. Rebounded by Milky, she'll turn and go. Not a lot of space, more numbers ahead of her. She'll slow it down, gets it over to Lydia. She'll set up the play. Under 3 minutes to go now. Over to Williams. Back up high with Lydia. Steps around. Pass deflected, going to be handled by Lydia. She'll spin, get it over to Omen. Quickly over to Williams. Into the paint with Rail. Read well, deflected out of bounds. Will stay with the Lancers. Bring back in is Cedar Strong. For Ristad. And Owen will pass it in on the baseline. Gets in quickly to Milky. Tipped out of her hands and a foul going to be called. That'll be the 6th. And the next one will have him shooting as the Lancers will pass it in once again on the baseline. The 3rd now on Gunderson. Something definitely keep an eye on as we get here for the second half. Corner to Lydia open three. She'll take it. They need it. They get it. Good hit from Lydia. Scored the first 2 points of the game. Now has 5 as she brings them back within 8. 2:43 to go. To the corner. The response from Cedar Strong. Lyle stops the backboard. Going to be rebounded by Milky. She'll turn and go. Hands it off for Lydia. Lydia has a lane inside. Pass across. Rail an open shot. Lays it up and in. Quick 5-0 run from the Lancers. And they're back within 6. They're looking for a lane on the other side. Swings it back high. Emerson, bit of space. Won't take it. Steps back around. Goes to the corner. They're going to open three. Bounces up. Rebounded by Williams. She'll turn. Look for some space. And a foul going to be called, which is going to have Williams shooting. They'll play one on the other end. With Wales, Seibel, and Gergel all honoring in for Rail, Omen, and will be Williams after her free throws. So it's a strong run starting off with Lydia's three. Gets a nice transition bucket from Rail. Now Williams' chance to come into it even more. Chance to bring it on to a 4-point game. The first one will ring out. Will not earn a second, but Milky nice tie up there. Will stay with the Cardinals. I guess success now back the Lancer way as now Seibel will enter in for Williams. And they can make it back up to 4 with 2:4 to go. Trying to get their lead back to what it was. Cut down to 6 currently, 17-11. Hesitation, steps inside, back up high with Emerson. thinks about it. Now back across the Strum. Keep on Nicollet. Good fake. Steps inside. Help comes. Pass across. Can't rim it in. Rebound Nicollet. Blocked by Milky. Back inside. Blocked by Seibel, but a foul going to be called. She's going to see him into the line to take 2. And 4 fouls now on Gunderson as she got the one on Williams, which had her shooting a 1-and-1. She did not go to play most of the second half. The first free throw will fall for Hannah. First point left for her. And first points for the Cardinals, not named Emerson and Nicollet. Second free throw made an 8-point game. And bounce out. Rebounded by Seibel. Pressure comes and be taken away and sent back up top with Emerson. To the corner of Strum. Back up with Emerson. She'll swing around to Nicollet. Steps around, kicks back out to Emerson. Emerson will drive around back to Nicollet. Steps inside, into the paint, puts one up, blocked another foul, sends it right back to the line to take 2 more. 14 fouls, and I'm going to Lancers with 1:29 to go. Should get to the bonus. As Hannah will have to run 1 for 2 on her first pair of free throws. Gets 2 more after it was taken away off the rebound. First one will bounce out, and it's a 7-point game. Bounce out as well, rebound inside, rims up and out again, tipped up in the air, rebounded by Milky, and she'll hold it and go. Hands it off to Lydia. Lancers possessions limited here toward the end of the half. See if they can get a couple more together and keep this one manageable going into the half. Wales back across with Lydia. Quickly over to Milky. Hands it off to Girdle. Girdle steps, back high with Lydia. She'll spin, get it over to Wales. Back up high with Lydia. Lydia steps inside. Pressure comes into the paint with Milky. Milky puts one up, banks it in. Big hit from Milky. And she gets on the board for the first time tonight as the game back within 5. Drives around, fakes the corner, and off to the Strum. Into the paint, pressure comes, blocked by Milky, but a foul going to be called. That'll be the team's 5th. And her 2nd. With 46.8 to go. 2 more to the line coming from Hannah, currently 1 for 4 on the night. And he has a chance to start off that percentage. That's her first free throw. Bounces out. After hitting her first, has now missed her last 4. Her second will fall. 2 points now for Hannah. She brings them back up by 6. 42 seconds to counting. Lydia up the floor. Gonna get over to Wales. Back over to Lydia. Quickly over to Seibel. Not a lot of space. And foul going to be called as Seibel hopped up in the air. Thought about passing it. Hesitated and ended up leaving her feet. That's going to go back to the Cardinals with 35.9 to go. Possibly the last possession for the Cardinals as Nicollet will take it up the floor. In no hurry. Solid 6-point lead. Trying to hold that one into the half. Swings it back high. Seibel running well. Hesitated. And now a foul going to be called. Which will be the 6th. Next one will have him shooting with 26.1 to go. Lancers did well with the fouls until the final 3 or 4 minutes. Now has him 1 away from bonus. The time will be called by the Cardinals. 26.1 to go, so you're going to get something drawn up for their final possession. 19-13, holding on to a 6-point lead here in the first half. It's a 19-13, 6-point lead for the Lancers with 26.1 to go. As the Cardinals come off the timeout, see if they got a good play drawn up, trying to get them into the 20s in a 3-possession lead before the half ends. Pass will come in from Emerson. Could use some Lancers on the passing and eventually get it into Nicollet. He's going to drive inside. Help comes. Kicks it out to Emerson. Emerson will drive around. Under 20 to go now. Open 3 for number 20. Hewlett bounces out over inside by Nicollet. Pressure comes from Girdle. Steps inside. Little fadeaway. Banks it in with 12 seconds to go. Lancers got to go quick. Time running down from 5. Wales turns. Back up high with Lydia. 3 seconds to go. Lydia steps inside. Open 3. Pressure there. Milky can't quite lay it up in the air. The shot from Lydia was deflected. Ended up in the hands of Milky, who had to catch and shoot in the air before time ran out. That effort what comes up short. 21-13 is your halftime score. An 8-point lead for the Cardinals. We'll be back in 5 minutes for the second half. getting ready for the second half. Here, Kofi is heading into the locker room for the varsity game. Placing Hobie Eichstead playing her half of JV. She was going to bring the table. Lancers are currently down by 8, 21-13. Also running into Lancers is Nelner. So they have a couple of varsity swings going up their way for the second half. Actually sent back over to Williams. We go corner with Milky. Milky goes up inside. Good jumper. Comes up short. Rebound inside, handled by Henry. Back up the floor over to Nicolette. Look at also varsity swing over play 2 halves of JV. And we'll send it back up top to her. Moves around to Emerson. Fake, step inside. Back over to Nicolette. Good shot. Gonna rim up and out. Handled inside by Hanner. That one sent long. And gonna be rebounded by Milner. Pressure on her. Milner will work way up the floor. Pass to Williams. Williams will turn. Trying to fence it in. Williams on the board. Miller's down with 3 goals. Back within 6. 21-15. Looking to drive inside, cut off by Williams and Nelner. Gonna go corner. Into the paint, likes it on her. And her turns. It'll float her up. Trims off the front of the rim. And it'll be handled by Eichstead. And handed off to Nelner once again. Lancers trying to get some offense started here quickly. Got the first bucket from Williams. Can they match it with another? Over to Girdle. Back up high with Nelner. Back over to Williams. In the paint with Eichstead. Eichstead will turn and step inside. Over to Milky. Milky bad angle. Trying to work away for a better one, but foot on the line. Sends it back to the Cardinals. Swing to the corner. Read well by Milky. She'll take it right back. After turning it over on the other end, she'll work her way inside. Past the front top of foot. It's being handled by Williams. Pressure comes. Going to kick it out to Eichstead. Not a good look. They swing it back high to Nelner. Nelner drives around. Corner the Girdle. Back up high with Nelner. Splits the defense. Steps inside. Comes up short in the foul. Going to be called. Just under the line. It takes 2. First foul of the half. Goes against number 11 here. That'll be her second. With Gunderson out on the floor. She currently has 4. She remains on the bench. Means the only sub 4 by Cardinals in. That's the rookie Strum. As Nelner misses her first free throw. Her second will have a chance to bring it back within 5 for her first points of the game after coming into the second half. And now to go Nelner on the board. Lancers back within 5 with 14:05 and counting. Nicolette. Driving inside, pressure comes, thinks about it. Sends him back high to Hewlett. Hewlett, the open 3 is yet to hit tonight. Missing off the corner as well. Rebounded by Williams, poked out of her hands, and a foul going to be called. The second team foul. And we go against Peterson. Now, 1. So fouling an issue in that first half. Got the Lancers to the line a few times. And already 2 quick ones here. The second half as well. Girdle back up high with Nelner. Makes a drive inside, gonna step back out, let it clear out. Pass deflected and gonna be handled by Williams up for a jump ball. It's called, which is hitting back to the Cardinals. Good deflection, ends up leading to another Cardinal possession. Come in to Nicolette. Nelner on her at half court. High in the corner, Sigerstrom back up high, pass deflected, handled by Hanner, right back to the corner. Skip pass across, 1-3 for Hewlett, quick release. This one in the fall, Hewlett hits for the first time tonight. Brings them up once again by 24-16. Over to Williams, back up high with Nelner, flipping the thing with Eichstead, back out to Williams. Over to Milky, Milky got the 1-on-1, gonna turn, shot, sends it long, gonna be rebounded by Hewlett, back up top with Nicolette. So try to push it. Nelner Bonner gonna get past her, steps inside, has a lane. Can't finish, gets her own rebound. This one's sent long, tipped out of her hands, gonna be handled by Eichstead. Eichstead will turn and go, and hand off to Nelner. Nelner gonna try to push it inside. Steps through, comes up short, tipped up in the air, gonna get her own rebound. Triple teamed, and the jump ball, foul gonna be called. Foul call from behind, jump ball called from up top. And then we're going with a call from the top. So jump ball called, regardless, that's gonna stay with Lancers. With Nelner passing in on the baseline. Got Gurgle open corner, she wants her. We go high Williams instead. Williams steps out, corner to Eichstead. Out of space, pass to Neller, wasn't looking. Ends up being taken away. Nicolette steps inside, 1 to beat. Gonna kick it out for open 3. Emerson will drive inside, swings over to Hewlett. Hewlett was moving out of the direction, ends up tripping out of bounds for another Cardinal turnover as Williams and Omen want her in for Gurgle and Williams. Number 30, Ellie Williams enters in. We'll pass it to Nelner as the Lancers will take it back to the floor. Trying to bring it back down to a 2-possession game, currently down by 8. Williams right back out to Nelner. Nelner up inside. Gets it over to Omen. Now option down low. Back up high to Nelner. Nelner fakes the drive inside. Back over to Omen. And timeout going to be called by the Lancers. 12:02 to go. 24-16, an 8-point lead for the Cardinals here in the second half. Back for the timeout will remain Lancer ball at the corner. Really pass it in. Target. Play back up the floor for the Lancers. And the thing with Eichstead. Back over to Milky. Milky got to step inside. Draws the foul. She'll head to the line to take 2. It's the 3rd foul on all the Cardinals. It's half. Just under 12 minutes to go. Building someone like Hanner who now has 3 ball points. The Cardinals in foul trouble. Warriors first free throw bounce it out. Our second chance to bring it down to a 7-point game. The bounce went out as well. Deflected in the bounds. That's going to go back with the Cardinals. The Lancers come empty on the possession. Back before goes Nicolette. Illinois get on her half court, and we'll get around, fake, and send it back high to Emerson. Emerson looking for a drive to the corner. Open 3. Quick release. That one comes short. Tipped up and around. Going to be handled by Nelner. She'll turn and go. Pressure on both sides. Trying to weave through traffic. Pass inside to Milky. Milky pass over. Tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Odin. That's now real runner in. Milky. Drive inside, takes to the corner, comes on high to Hewlett. Hewlett open 3, made her last one. This one gonna rim out, gonna be rebounded by Eichstead as well. Sent the floor and that moves and catch it in stride. Change direction, now forced back out. It's over the rail. Over to Eichstead. Eichstead double team, triple team, gonna get out to Nelner. Nelner drives in, pass over the rail, good look, gonna come up short. And rebounded by Hewlett. Drives around, pressure comes, kick up, and a fine Strum. Opposite corner, Hewlett mishandles the pass, forces to drive back up, and give it up to Emerson. Quickly over to Nicolette. First 3 of the half. Gonna fall! Nicolette now with 16. As the Lancers offense starting to stall, now down 11. And the rail looking for an option. Lead out to Omen. Omen didn't look. And long rebound. Eichstead. That one bounces up and out. Handled by Rail, now a jump ball to be called. This is going back with the Cardinals. 27-16, an 11-point lead for the Cardinals. Chance to extend it here, freshen off the Nicholas' latest 3. And foul going to call on Nelner. First foul call on Lancers this half with 10:08 to go. And we'll give it out to Nicholas. Stops the blue line, they're going to force the way back in. Kicks out to Emerson. Over to Strum. That's the big with Hanner. Back up top. Peel it up in 3. Off the back rim. And rebounded by Rail. Rail will trying to dribble through traffic. Ends up being poked away and taken away. Pass to the paint. Emerson all alone. Get a finish. Emerson's got 8 and the Lancers now down 13. Largest lead in the game for the Cardinals. Over to Williams. Back up by Vanilla. High over to Omen. In the name of Rail, bad angle. Trying to force her way through and ends up traveling. Wales, cycle, and Williams Lawrence for Pike State, Williams, and Omen. As the Cardinals keep it going. Take control of this game now with under 10 to go. An options, get pass across, handle in the corner, up the through, and take it back to the paint with Hanner. Hanner will turn, send him back high. Nicholas steps inside, running floater, banks up and in. Nicholas got 18 as the lead grows now to 15. Here's up to Seibel. Back up by with Nelner. Nelner will step inside. And travel. Pressure beyond his half court now. Nicholas looking to fling it back high. Cut off by Wales, pass deflected. Handle on the backcourt, handed off to Nicholas. Nicholas turns and goes. That's a lane inside, all the way in. She'll finish the game. 20 now for the freshman. As Nelner takes back the floor, trailing by 17. Over to Seibel. Pass deflected, taken away by Nicholas. Take it right back by Nelner. Nelner inside. Gonna drive through, draws the foul in. Finishes well. Nelner with 3 on the night. Chase to make it 4 at the line. On her full court, and Seibel. As Lancers trying to bring the pressure, looking for anything to get the offense going. Pass deflected, going to be handled in the corner by Hewlett. Sends one back high, tipped away by Rail. Rail going to take it away as well. Catches it in stride, going to try to push her way forward. Over to Nelner. Nelner's got space. Can't quite finish. Rebound Rail, and she's fouled. We found number 5 for the team on the night. 7:56 to go. The Lancers passing baseline. The pressure proves faithful. Nelner on her hand 1, and that's bringing him to 3-point play. And Braylon looking to steal the as well, trying to speed him back up. See what they can get over here. High with Rail. Steps inside. Jill finishing in. Strong drive for Rail. She now got 6. Lancers bring it right back within 12. Using to go on quietly as Emerson driving inside. Rail gets in front, gets a deflection. Shot once again comes up short. Another one comes up short as well before being rebounded by Nelner. As Williams and will shoot, she sends it. She will. Good find. Williams all alone. Can't finish. Tipped in the air. Williams hits it once again. And a jump ball going to be called, which will stay with the Lancers. And all 5 Lancers going to go ahead and enter in. Along with Gunderson for the first time this half for Cardinals. Full line change for Lancers to see how it proves as we find themselves in 12 currently. Up to Gurgle. Steps up, going to get it high to Omen. Back over to Gurgle. Gurgle turns to drive inside. No option, back up high with Omen. Swings it high. Miscommunication is being taken away by Hewlett, trying to get her dribble intact. And ends up coming up short on the other end. Tipped around, rebound inside, sent back up. Off to the side before being rebounded by Nicollet. Drills it back high, swinging around to Hewlett. Hewlett passing the paint too high, and that's going to end up going back to the Lancers. Starting to hold their own on the defensive end. That's turned into a couple of points so far. Got to keep it going. There's only 7:01 to go. Still down by a dozen. Milky back up the floor. Over to Owen, right back out with Milky. Pass deflection, she'll handle it clean. 3 seconds remaining to be called on Girdle. The Lancer turnover sends it right back as pressure will come for the Lancers. Needs to work the first time. We'll see what it does here. Up the floor to Nicollet. Pressure on her for a moment. Slowly working her way up the floor. Now puts on some steam. Steps inside. Little floater. Banks it up and in. And Nicollet gets some pay. Now 22. Milky across the line. Wants to give it to Owen. Will. Owen right back up down with Milky. Steps around, gets over to Williams. To the paint with Eichsted. Eichsted will turn and go. Bad angle. Gonna bounce it out. Tip back. And foot on the line. He'll stay with Owen, so he doesn't need rebound by the rest of the line. Nice another shot at it with Owen on the pass in baseline. High to Milky. Pass deflected. Handled by Williams. She'll try to get out to Eichsted. And it's being taken away by Emerson. Emerson cut off, sends it back high, ran well by a couple of Lancers, couldn't quite get there in time. That's now Nicollet. Steps up, no one on her, all the way through, banks it up and in once again. 24 for Nicollet, as the lead right back up to 16. It's over to Williams. Right back high with Milky. Right for a moment. Change direction, poke out her hands, ends up being taken away. Before being handed back on for Nicollet. Goes to the corner, wide open three for Emerson. She'll take it. Bounces up and out, tipped up, handled by Nicollet. She'll turn, step around, and he'll take it back out up top. Swings over to Emerson. Up and around, all over the corner. Hewlett into the paint. One-on-one. Sends it long, rebounded by Girdle, tipped out of her hands, and that one gonna stay with the Cardinals. Pass in baseline from Emerson. Bezos corner, Hewlett open three. Foul called on the shot. And she'll have the line to take 3 free throws. Those are 3 bounces off the bat. First one bounces in to Hewlett. For Hewlett as she gets her second free throw. Try to complete the 3-point play with her third free throw at the line, getting at 6 points and hit the 40s. Going up playing 19. Won't do it. Rebounded but falling down is Gunderson. And we'll head back to the Lancers with 5:10 to go. Over Williams. Back up high with Milky. Milky steps through. Over to Ullman. Ullman, good look. Bounces up and in. Ullman on the board for the first time tonight. Virgo keeps the pressure on Nicollet. She'll go around, cut off, gonna kick it out. Wide open three, won't take it. Swings around to Hewlett. Good anticipation from Ullman. And she'll end up tipping it out of bounds. Will stay with the Cardinals. Pass will go in to Nicollet. Goes on high with Emerson. Steps inside, swings a corner. In the paint, good look, blocked from Milky. Tipped out of her hands, down low, and going to be handled by Nicollet. Into the paint, one with Eichsted. Steps through, kicks it back out. Swings it across. Back into the paint. Has a step on Eichstead. This time draws the foul. Can't quite bounce up and in, but that'll send Gunderson the line. Take 2. And all 5 players are getting ready to check back in, possibly for the remainder of this game. It's the first free throw will rim out. Gunderson, Williams, Nelner, Rail, Wales, and Seibel run for Williams, Milby, Ullman, Eichstead, and Ergel. Second free throw for Gunderson, chance to make it a 17-point game and get them into the 40s. And Will. Gunderson on the board for the first time tonight, and Nelner will take it back up the floor for the Lancers. Over to Williams. Back up high with Nelner. Gets a little cookie to Wales. Back up high with Nelner once again. She'll step inside. Has a lane. All the way in. Comes up short. Stepped out of her hands. Going to be handled by Hewlett. 2 inside. Drives right in. Bounces up and in. Yes, Hewlett now has 7. And the lead goes up back to 19. Into the paint. Stepped out of the hands of Rail. Going to be taken away. Foul going to be called on Rail. Team's 4th. Press on. Then tipped out of her hands. Wales, the hand on it, deflected out of her hands. Scrum on the floor. And I'm going to stay with the Cardinals. Tipped out of her hands, and we handled by Gunderson. Tipped back in, taken away by Rail. And now a jump ball is going to be called, which will stay with the Cardinals. Pass deflected, tipped out of her hands, ball on the floor, rolling out of bounds, and to stay with the Cardinals once again. Pass outside, people won't take it, back to the corner with Emerson. Pass up, deflected, races to get it out of bounds. And handled and sent back up for Nicolette. Steps inside, has a lane, kick out, corner, Emerson open 3. Bounces up, once again, can't hit. He will kick it back out through the legs. And Rustad, dive on the floor, Cycle will pick it up. Spinning, I'll hand off to Wales. Pass deflected, going to be handled by Williams. Handed off to Nelner. She'll take it back out and try to slow it down. Over to Wales. Back up behind with Nelner. Nelner steps inside. Steps to a couple, rims up and in for Williams. Nelner now with 6 of the pressure will remain. Brings it back down to a 17-point game. And a foul going to be called against Nelner. Team's 5th and Milner's 2nd. Here's baseline, high, going to be handled by Hewlett. Turning pass to Grounds. Looking back inside is Nicolette. Cut off by Rails, let's go back high. Fakes back to the corner. Nicolette steps up. Back to the paint. Spinning inside, that's Gunderson. Draws the foul, and she'll head to the line to take 2. Free throw box for number 2. Number 3 points tonight as Williams and Eichstead are in for Seibel and Wales. Second free throw. Bounce out, rebound side, sent back up off the bottom of the rim, and being handled by Rail. Will hand off to Melvin. Back in the corner, hand off to Williams, back up high with Ice. Ice still turns and drive it around, taken out of their hands, and handled by Emerson. Emerson one-on-one, step by step with Eichstead, draws the foul, can't quite finish. Well, send Emerson to the line to take two. Eichstead with 17 fouls will have the Cardinals shooting relative length with 1:54 to go. Second foul on Eichstead, that's the first free throw. Will fall for Emerson. Now with 9 on the night. Second free throw falls well. Emerson's double digits now with 10. As no one takes back up the 4 Lancers. Currently down by 20, 45-25. Over to Rail. Different options. She'll step inside. Or Eichstead fakes, steps up. Over to Neller. Neller with the lane inside. Little floater. Banks up and off. So a rebound. Foul call. Second. Now send Miller to the line to take 2 more free throws. First one off the corner. Anderson's back in. Gunderson. From Gunderson for 4, fouling out, had those 4 fouls in the first half. Ended up playing a decent amount of time in the second half, about the 5th. Surprised to see if she returned with 1:37 to go. As now there's second free throw bouncing up, rebound Rail, second short again, and this time foul. Just on Rail to the line to take 2, now 15 to 17 fouls. Steps through, brings something in, 4. And there goes Quigley, driving inside, can't finish, rebounded by Nicollet, and jump ball, which will go to the Cardinals. 1:08 to go, Cardinals remain up by 20. Passing to Nicollet. Screen. Just pass the couple, we'll slow it down. Under minutes to go now, so we'll take it back up top. Gonna waste out some time with one receiver Strum into the paint. And we'll turn back out with Nicollet. Steps up beyond blue line. Back to the corner. Takes to the paint, back up out with Nicollet. Step up high and a foul call on Williams. Nelson will go ahead and take a 1-on-1. With 24 on the night. She's making a solid 25 up the line. And cap off an amazing game for her. We'll see her in the varsity game for at least a half. At the first free throw fall for Nicollet. 25 on the night for her. Chance to make it 26. Could be the final shots for her tonight. Second one bounces up and in. 26 now for Nicollet. As Miller take it back up the floor for the Lancers. Under 35 seconds to go. Back up out with Miller. Miller steps through. Banks off the card. Tipped it out. Going to send them back in. To be handled by Rail. Rail trying to step back inside. This one bounced out as well. Tipped up in the air. And jump ball going to be called. They'll stay with the Lancers with 21.9 to go. Let's see if we get 1 or 2 more shots here on this possession. Cardinals will take over, then most likely dribble off the clock. Currently up by 22, 49-27, 21.9 to go. Pass to the corner with Rail, so we'll go ahead and take the 3. That one will fall for Rail. Rail with 11. As Nichols looking at the floor, 12 seconds to go. And foul calls on Nelner. 10.1, we're going to go ahead and let Nicola take 2 more shots. Chance to get her score up to 28. So she's going to get that one last possession following the 2 free throws. Paul. 27 on the night now for Nicola. Second one going to bounce up, rebounded by Rail. And she'll try to push it on the floor, time down. 6 seconds over to Williams, too high, going to bounce it around with 4.2. And a solid score, 50-30. Cardinals lead by 20, and they will waste out the last 4.2 seconds here. Which will get them the win in the first game of the night. Gets to the Nicholas, and she will dribble it out. 50-30, a 20-point win for the Cardinals here in the JV game. A strong showing from Nicholas. Renner right with 27. Hewlett Emerson right behind her with Emerson getting 10. Hewlett with 7 and Hammer with 4. Braille in her night with 11, a leading scorer for the Lancers. Neller behind her with 6. Right behind her with 5 was Clokey. And Milky, Williams, Gurgle, and Oman all contributing too. But the Lancers down by 20 at the end, 50-30 as they drop the first game of the night. The second game incoming. The varsity looking to keep their 3-game win streak alive with the Eleva Strum Cardinals, the best team in D5, 22nd in Wisconsin, 14-0, have yet to lose this year. Looking to defend their home court. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we will see you then for Lancers versus Cardinals.